Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike here, and today is the P&L report. Every Sunday night around 9 p.m. Eastern, except we're later today because George had stuff to do.
It's
George
only
and I will
Mother's
sit
Day.
down. George and I will hang out and talk about different topics and just try and help you answer questions. It's just kind of an interactive thing we do for the community. But I appreciate everyone who's going to join or is here already, and you can go ahead and say hi, George.
How's it going, everybody?
How has your day been so far?
Oh, not too bad. I was just telling you a minute ago, I went over to the flea market. It's about 45 minutes away from me. I went to go check it out, talk to some vendors, see how they like selling there. And, um, they said usually it's really busy. So that's great. And I like the way that it's set up, too. Like you have to walk through everything, and it's all right there on like a sidewalk. And Um, it was set up real nice to where everyone gets a lot of foot traffic. So, but that's what I did today. I went there to scope it out. I'm hopefully going to start selling there either next week or the week after that. Um, that's what I'm going to be working on a little bit during the week.
So you're for sure going to start up at the flea market then.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's worth a shot. I feel like it's not a huge investment to try and set up, and
Right.
you can see how it goes. It might be awesome. You never know. And plus, dealing with cash is always good because it's money right in your hand. You don't have to wait for it to transfer or fees involved. And
Yeah, and I know one of the big advantages of selling at a flea market too. Well, one advantage to a seller is to be able to accept credit cards too. So um, I will consider that as well.
for that, are you going to use like the PayPal slider or
Yeah,
just?
I have PayPal here,
Oh,
so
okay.
I have the slider with me. I can do it at any time. But if I'm selling things at like a $5 price point, then it 30 cents per transaction plus 2.9% is kind of high for such a low transaction.
That's actually pretty cheap. So I looked into previously getting in my own merchant account so I can actually just run credit cards through my business.
Uh-huh.
It's quite a bit more. They have like a really high fee on low transactions. That's why a lot of corner stores have a minimum you have to spend on a card.
Yeah, they do have that. They're not supposed to though. Apparently, it's I don't know if it was against the law or something. I don't remember where it was, but apparently you're not supposed to charge a minimum or have require a minimum, I should say. But at the same time, I know in Texas you can refuse business to anyone, so it's like, well, then you can't shop here.
Yeah.
so, so I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's probably ways around it, but
Hey Andrew, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so I don't know. You gave some topics you wanted to talk about. I feel like we can just ramble about random stuff, hang out, answer questions, and
yeah.
I feel like there's probably a lot of people who are tired today who've been running around all day. So um, I know you mentioned talking about sell-through rates and sales and promotions and a few other things.
Yeah. Um, Knowing those numbers can really help you out in your business. For one, knowing how much you're going to sell or how much you could potentially sell um, just by knowing your sell through rate and your average price per item. So, for example, if you have, just to keep it simple, 100 items in your store, and every month you make 30 sales, on average, you make 30 sales. Well, now your sell through rate is 30%. Once you take your price per item and you multiply your average items. How am I trying to say this? It works out a lot easier
You're
when I
trying to
know
say if you take your price per item and multiply it by the amount of
average
units you would sell.
exactly. Then
Yeah.
you can predict how much you're going to make that month.
Yeah.
Uh, and at the same time, you can say, well, if I add another 100 items to my store, I should make twice that much.
So like what do you consider to be a good sell-through rate?
Well, I mean, everybody aims for 100%.
Well, that's not realistic. A realistic
That's not
sell-through rate.
realistic. Uh, when it comes to your own personal items, or when it
Like,
comes to each individual item that you're looking up. Okay, so I'll kind of go through it. Whenever I'm sourcing items and I want to know how well do these sell, I look them up on eBay and I click on the sold listings and then I click on the completed listings. So it's going to tell me how many items, how many of that particular item sold and how many didn't sell. And you can kind of figure it in. You can come up with the sell-through rate over the last what is it, like 3 months? I think is how far the sold listings go.
yeah.
So you can say again there were 100 items that completed and 50 of them sold. Well, the sell-through rate on that particular item is 50%, and that I think is pretty good. Um, and, anything higher than that would be really great, and you know that it's going to sell fairly quickly. So that's what I aim for whenever I'm sourcing is 50% or more. um, but my personal sell-through rate in my store is about 30%.
So I look at things a little differently, I guess. To me, sell-through rate matters less than general income. I think I aim for on a monthly basis, say however many items I list on the month. I'm looking to sell about 30% of those new items listed. After 3 months, I'm looking to sell at least 60% of everything that was listed in that 3 months. And then over the course of the year, I want to be above 75%, but I'll get rid of stuff. Like if things don't sell after 3 months, I'll often just auction them off, sell them in bulk, sell them on Craigslist, get them out of my way. I think there's so many outlets to sell things that your sell-through rate should be above 75% for the course of the year. Really, it should. If not, you're probably buying things that people aren't looking for, or you can't flip, or they're just not high quality enough, or whatever it is.
I think it kind of depends on what you're selling too. Some items just sell faster than others.
I mean, of course, if you're selling like $100,000 diamonds, your sell-through rate doesn't matter as much because you can sell one and make a ton of money. But realistically, we're all resellers for the most part. We do arbitrage. So I would think over the course of the year, you need to sell a majority of the stuff you're buying, and you need to be able to flip the rest of it. At least try and get your money back or whatever you're going to do there. I consider a sell-through not just selling an item, because people, you can sell an item and break even. That to me isn't sell through. Sell through is when you sell an item for a profit and you're trying to get, the price you want. Getting rid of stuff, just auctioning it off and breaking even, or maybe even losing a little bit of money isn't really sell through to me. But something I noticed since I started FBA is my sell through rate on FBA is ridiculously high, and my sell through rate on eBay is very much lower than that. Do you see the same trend or no?
It's hard to say because I don't hit FBA as hard as you do.
Yeah, but I mean, do you has FBA been consistent for you or not really?
Yeah. Amazon has. I make a lot more sales on. Well, not a lot more, but faster sales on Amazon.
Yeah. And I think the sales power of Amazon seems to be much higher than eBay right now. That doesn't mean that can't change. That doesn't mean Amazon's better. But because the margins can be a lot lower due to fees and competitors. But what I've noticed is, for instance, I just sent in a big shipment last week, right? I did the video on it. I got up to 600 units. In the course of 7 days, I'm down from 600 to 460 units.
Wow.
I made a ridiculous amount of money off Amazon the last week, whereas on eBay I had maybe a couple sales a day on average, and I was happy with that. I made a few $100s, but it wasn't anything close to the sell-through rate on Amazon. I noticed things on Amazon, especially if they're a popular rank, they flip so ridiculously fast you would not believe it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just aim for most products to be out of my stock within 3 months. That's what I do. I leave them listed at the price I want. I wait it out. If they don't sell, I'll auction them off, lot them together, whatever I got to do to get them out of my way. Because stagnant inventory, unless it's something rare and valuable, just isn't worth your time.
Yeah, I try to do the same thing. Most of my items sell within the first or second month. But there's always the few items that sit for a little bit longer for one reason or another. Maybe it's out of season, or just a kind of different item or whatever. Yeah, but I try to get everything out within 3 months as well.
There's a quick question here, and I want to say hi to a couple people. What's up, Mr. Sadie? Lori, Charles, how you guys doing? Charles said, is there a way to see the date that you listed something on FBA in the inventory? There is definitely a way. You just click your normal inventory, don't click FBA inventory, and it'll have the date you added the item to your listings, but that's not the date that it got to FBA. But it'll be the day that you scanned it in and created a listing, and then you obviously had to ship it in. So there's some time added on to that. My oldest item right now is from December of last year, and I think there's only 2 left from December. And then all my inventory, like 80% of it's from the last couple of months only on Amazon. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. We'll get to them when we can. We're just going to talk about different topics. If you have topics you want us to discuss, go ahead and leave them in the comments, all that kind of stuff. We're up to 20 viewers already, so thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I know I always love doing these hangouts. I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting to talk business.
I just like interacting with everyone, and I don't get to talk to you much either, so we always end up like we're hanging out talking to each other about random stuff, which is what we do if we're in like a private hangout or anything anyways. So you talked about using sales and promotions. Do you use, first of all, have you ever used sales and promotions on Amazon at all?
Nope, not on Amazon.
Okay. A lot of people might not know this. It's not new, but they actually added a promotions box to your Amazon account. You used to be able to get to it. It was just harder to get to. And you can basically do a pay-per-click ad on any items you want, any group of items, any specific item, and it will let you win the buy box if they're new products for those items based on your advertising dollars. And then you'll get charged if someone buys one, obviously, but also they put little ads on the bottom, or they might put the listing in, higher up in the rankings. And as people click, you can pay, pay-per-click rate. But the cool part is you get to pick your rate. You can literally put 1 penny, and you might be able to, compete in that market if no one's bidding on the stuff. So I tried it out. I had like 60 clicks over the course of 2 days, which isn't bad. It only cost me a total of 68 cents. So they actually will take a lower bid. Even if you say your max is 10 cents per click, they'll give you a lower bid if no one else is bidding. 60 clicks for 60 cents is like pretty good. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. On eBay, there's two types of promotions now. There's like, you can create a promotion like buy 2 get 1 free, or there's the markdown manager where you can take a % off of certain items, or save this much on buy it now listings. Do you use that at all on eBay?
I've mostly used the markdown manager in the past. I did, however, just set a promotion yesterday for the first time. I don't know if anybody will utilize it, but if they do, it's there, which is essentially just buy 1, get 1, 25% off. And I don't know. I feel like since I do free shipping on all of my items, that would essentially eliminate the shipping costs from the second item, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because buyers aren't stupid. They know that they're paying for shipping whenever they buy something at a higher price. I mean, I do it all the time. It's like, well, this guy is $7 with $3 shipping, and this guy has it for 10. So I mean, obviously, you're paying for shipping on both of them.
Yeah, basically free shipping on eBay or any online platform just means shipping included in the price.
Right, exactly.
A huge debate. People say it's wrong. It's whatever. A ton of studies have been done on the fact, and it's been proven a million times over, that consumers don't look that deep into the matter. They like seeing the words free shipping. They just do. It doesn't matter if the price is higher. You know what else they like seeing? 2-day shipping. That's why so many people love Prime. So they just don't care as much as people act like they do. But there are people who look for better deals with the price of shipping included. Like I buy stuff all the time that has a shipping cost, but the actual price is much lower. And as a whole, the item's cheaper. I do that a lot myself. So
yeah, they'll instead of doing best match, they'll do price plus shipping lowest first. I do all the time when I'm trying to snipe items or anything like that. Ending soonest, price plus shipping, lowest first. So just things like that. One thing about using free shipping to keep in mind: whenever you're using free shipping and you are using the markdown manager,
Yeah.
you're, let's say, you're running a 25% off sale. Well, whenever you're using free shipping, you're also marking 25% off of the shipping costs, if that makes sense. So if you weren't, let's say you had a $7 item with $3 in shipping, you would take off 25% of the $7 rather than 25% of the $10, and so it's going to be a bigger sale for the buyer if someone has 25% off of free shipping.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Because
I,
25% of $7 is less than 25% of $10.
I personally don't charge shipping on many things. I'm talking like probably 5% of items, and that's because they're heavy or they need calculated. When I do auctions, I always do calculated shipping in case there's not a lot of bids. So I've used promotions on eBay and Markdown Manager. First of all, Markdown Manager is amazing. You have to have a store subscription to use it. You just go to your store settings, hit Markdown Manager. You can pick certain items. You can pick a group of items. You can pick categories. You can pick fixed price, whatever you want to pick. You can take a percentage off, a certain dollar amount. It's really just like a sale. And then your item will have a cross through it. It'll show the sale price, how much they saved. As far as the promotions, which was added, I want to say about a year ago on eBay, it's tough. I feel like that's not as useful because most people that go and buy on eBay aren't compulsive buyers. They don't fill their cart with things and purchase them. They're looking for a specific item in mind or a specific type of item. For that to be useful, like promotions to be useful for you, I feel like you have to have thousands of products that kind of coincide with each other, right? You have to have like 500 dress shirts and 500 ties, and then someone might buy a dress shirt and a tie.
Right.
If you're listing all kinds of stuff in your store, it's really unlikely promotions will do well for you. But Markdown Manager should do well almost always. Actually, my store is on sale right now. I put it on sale every Friday until Monday usually because the weekends are slower, and it gives people a chance to get a deal if they want to shop on the weekend. Have you had any success with Markdown Manager? Have you noticed any increase in sales with it, or?
It's kind of hit or miss, I feel. I do the same thing that you do. I'll usually make it like a 3-day sale between Friday, Saturday, and ending Sunday night, just to increase the weekend sales and whatnot. And I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think that I see too much of an increase in sales with Markdown Manager, but it's hard to say. I mean, if I wasn't using Markdown Manager, would they still buy the shoes? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've always wondered if Markdown Manager gives you an increase in rank at all. I don't know if it like makes a difference. I feel like it probably doesn't because people could just overprice their items and keep them on Markdown Manager 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So and people exploit things like this. That's why you get charged a fee on shipping costs, because people used to exploit shipping costs and charge a penny for $1,000 item and charge $999 shipping to not get charged a fee on the sale. So any little bug like that, people will take advantage of. That's why they all get taken away and people get really upset about it. Yeah. But I think Markdown Manager has a good place to sell things. Last fourth quarter, when I had 600 listings and I did Markdown Manager, I seen an increase in sales per day, like quite a few, like 3 or 4 more sales per day. Promotions did nothing for last fourth quarter when I tested them. But I feel like for any of this to work significantly, you need to have a lot of listings. And a lot of listings is not 600. That's not even a lot. I'm talking like you should be able, if you want to make a huge difference on this, have 1,000 listings, 2,000 listings. That's when you're actually going to see a good number. Until you have that amount of listings, you're really a small sample size on eBay. You know what I mean? Even 1,000 is probably a small sample size. There's sellers with 60,000 listings. Like,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's when you're going to see a difference when you do this stuff. So I think the main issue is the 100 listings, a lot of people have, let's say, between 100 and 300. Really, I mean, I've seen a lot of sellers. Most of them have between 100 and 300 listings.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a big sample size when it comes to eBay when you actually think about it. So I feel like people have unreal expectations on these things working because they think that 100 listings or 200 listings is a lot. It's really not at the end of the day when you think about it.
No, I feel like I think right now, well, a couple of items have sold, but I just had 150 items up, and I feel like that's kind of a goal for me because I've never had that many items, and so I'm just trying to grow, and I'm on a path to do about 25 new items per week.
Okay.
And I'm doing that just to increase my inventory and my listings, obviously, to get up. And but I'm not sure how many I can get to and still just use this right here behind me. I'm gonna have to get more storage. But yeah, the 100 to 300. I'm aiming for 200 by the end of the month for sure, and it probably will happen sooner than that. But yeah, it should be sooner than that I hit 200. But and that was kind of tying into, well, how much the sell-through rate that we were talking about earlier. I was like, well, how many to make this much money? How many more items do I need to add to my store? Because if I know my average price per item and my sell-through rate, okay, well, I need to hit this many items in my store, and so that takes time to get that many. But yeah, that's kind of what kind of income do you want to make, and then you got to know all those numbers that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, listing on eBay sucks for most people. They don't like it. I understand. But if you really want to do well on online business, like through eBay, you need to be listing quite a bit more than you're selling, probably at least 2 times as much as you're selling to accumulate a good amount of listings. And then maybe you can slow down. But I feel like keep pushing, especially as you're getting towards fourth quarter, is the chance for you to keep pushing a higher number. When you get to fourth quarter, like my mistake was I had low listings in October, and then I had a list up to 600 in December. If I started October with 600, I could have had 1,500 by December and been doing really well, and I did well. But I mean, for me, I realized what a difference having just one person helping you makes. I've had someone helping me list like last week. We started the beginning of the week with like 21 listings. In 3 days of us listing together, and not even spending a majority of our time listing, but us listing together, I was taking photos, measuring while he was listing. We managed to get to 120 listings in 3 days and just a few hours of work. Wow. So it's all about getting a process down and kind of streamlining. And there's a couple of things I want to address before they get swallowed up in the feed here. Andrew asks, what item is it that I can't sell since December? It's an old strategy guide for House of Dead 2 or something, I believe. It's just an old book I had. It's not in great condition, so I didn't expect it to sell really fast. And if it gets long-term storage fees, it'll just get mailed back to me so they don't accumulate. Sadie asked how my uncle was. I wanted to address that because I know a bunch of people are going to ask about that. First of all, my uncle's surgery was a lot less painless than it was a lot less painless than I thought it was going to be. Like, he was having 3 of his discs removed out of his neck and replaced with cadaver bone and a titanium structure. Pretty serious stuff. They go through his throat and grind out all the bone and replace them. They told us the operation would take 6 hours. We got there at 6 a.m. His surgery didn't start till 8:40, which sucked. But it only took an hour and a half. He was done. This is what amazed me. 1 hour after his surgery, he's in the we're allowed to visit him in ICU. The dude is talking and dancing with his hands, like having a great time. I was like, wait, what? Like, they told us he was going to be knocked out for 48 hours just because it would be so painful and they didn't want him to move his head. 1 hour after the operation, he's in great spirits. They sent him home the next day. He was able to climb stairs and everything the next day. And they sent him home. He's been home since the day after the operation, and he's taking care of himself. Like, my aunt doesn't even have to take time off of work. I mean, he's a little grumpy. He has like giant neck cast where he can't move his head at all. But you know, and I imagine that's uncomfortable over time. He said it's hurting his shoulders, but he's at home. I mean, he's taking care of himself, basically. He's hanging out. He's in pretty good spirits for the situation. They did say he has to have the neck brace on for, and I guess it's not a brace, but a collar is what they call it, right?
Yeah, it's a C collar.
Yeah, he has to have it on for a month and a half. He's not allowed to move his neck or spine at all for a month and a half. To change his clothes, he actually has to be laid down on the floor and like stare at the ceiling. And they have to change like his padding and stuff out where he's like perfectly still. But honest to God, the doctor came out and said it was the quickest he ever seen anyone recover from the surgery. Like, it was just ridiculous.
That's amazing, man. That's great. That's really good news.
So he's doing really well. And thanks for asking. I do appreciate it. I just wanted to cover that stuff before it got buried and I forgot about it. And then Sadie asked, can you search items that are on sale only on eBay? That's a great question. And honestly, I don't know. I'm not going to open another window and check because my computer sucks and then it'll end up freezing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. That's a good question.
And Pinching Peso said, my goal is to hire someone to do the grunt work, cleaning photos, etc. I think that's a great idea. It really is helpful if you get a good system down. So I created something. I don't know if my camera will focus great. These are like listing templates for shirts. I fill them out. They take like 20 seconds a piece. They have the measurements. And then my partner who's listing goes right through it. And it has a formula for the title. He's able to put all the stuff in. He can list a shirt and within a minute and a half, 2 minutes if he's trying. And we can knock out, 50 shirts in an hour by himself. If I'm helping him, we could do 100 shirts an hour. So I think if, say, you're focusing on certain items, create templates for them and create a process that your worker who's with you can understand easily and it's easily replicated. That's how McDonald's is so successful. You can start at McDonald's today and understand their system for one station within the hour. That's why McDonald's is able to scale. Your business needs the same situation where you're able to scale. So I think it's important to create a system. And I realized how much I just skipped. Holy hell, there's so much typing.
I looked at eBay, and in the advanced search, there is a box that you can check that says sale items.
Cool. I didn't know that. So there you go. What's up, JG? What's up, B? Pinching Pesos. How are you guys doing? And yeah, I agree. Promos don't do well for me either. I just, I've never seen any increase in sales on eBay with them. I think I had them up for 3 months, fourth quarter last year, and one person used the promo ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like really. And Tom, congrats on hitting 1,500, dude. I know you just started a job and you posted kind of like a downer in the. I guess you weren't trying to be a downer, but you had to go start a job because you were worried about sales. And that's what I tell you, man. You got to think about the long-term game. You might have a bad week this week. Next week might be great. It really is just like a long-term commitment. And you beat me on sales. I was doing great this week on FBA sales. I'm like, I just told George before this, I think I'm over $1,000 in 7 days or 8 days or whatever, which is pretty good. It's better than I've been doing. And then you posted your thing the other day and you're like 1,300 in 5 or 6 days. I was like, well, killing it after you just said you weren't able to do it full time. So congrats. That's really good.
Yeah, that's really great.
And how have your sales been lately, George? Consistent, slow? What's going on with you?
Yeah, they've been really consistent. Plus doing a little more FBA than I have been lately. The sales have been pretty good. This past month, my profit margin was more than twice as much as the previous month. So I'm doing pretty good. A little bit of growth there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and I just checked my GoDaddy this morning, and it was at I'm already at twice my profit that I had in March.
That's
so
killer.
10 days into May, I'm already doing better than I was in March, twice as much.
Like the entirety of March, you mean?
The entirety of March.
Wow. So yeah, that's awesome, man. You still have 21 days in the month left.
And we're gonna go hit a fucking flea market.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're gonna kill it at the flea market. You're gonna love it. Flea markets are awesome. I've always had a great time with them. Why is my chat when I scroll, it's like skipping like 20 pages? I'm gonna try. All right. So if you see anything in chat you want to cover, say it because I'm probably missing it.
I'm not sure where you were.
So Vintage Hunter asks, Michael, how can you even compare eBay sales to Amazon sales when you only have 97 listings? I understand it's easier, but not really a fair assessment. Not trying to attack you, just curious. Okay, so this is a fair question, and I don't see it as an attack. You didn't approach it in like a hostile manner, but I feel like I'm not referring to eBay today. I'm referring to eBay as I've been on eBay for a long time, like almost 6 years now. I think the account I have is my second account because I lost my first account's information and everything. Um, I've had up to 680 listings on eBay, and the most items I've had at Amazon was under 700. So I can compare because both numbers are very close. And I'm comparing a sell-through rate, which is a percentage. The amount of listings doesn't really matter, although a higher test subject would help. But my sell-through rate on eBay is a lot lower than it is on Amazon. In the past 7 days, I managed to sell over 100 something units on Amazon, whereas I sold under 20 on eBay. And by the way, I was at 120 listings on eBay. I had to close a couple because I sold some comic books locally, and then the rest of them are sales. So. And I haven't listed for 6 days. I haven't been home, so I feel like it's not about the subject size. I was referring to a percentage. You see any questions or anything you want to cover, George?
I'm looking through it right now.
And then Pinching Peso said, I have a template I put together already. My issue is my eBay room is a wreck, and I feel like bringing someone in would be chaotic for them. Yeah, I mean, I'm super organized. I just like it's hard for me to understand people that work in a messy environment. Not even like ragging on anyone. It's just not how my brain works. I've been programmed for 10 years to work in a kitchen. Things are neat and processed, and there's a process that everything goes through, and things have to be clean because you're working with food. So I don't know. For me, it's really easy to organize stuff. I get that everyone doesn't have that skill or mindset or whatever. So it's hard for me to assess that situation really. But if I had to give you some advice, it would be stop what you're doing when you have free time, whatever you're doing. And I know you're like on the wake up and stuff. And if you can set up in that room while you're on the wake up, straighten up the room while you're working with your laptop or whatever. And you could talk to them while you straighten things up. But getting the area you work in neat is very, very important.
Yeah, I've never been as organized as I am now. I've always been a organized chaos, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
And that's always kind of been my style, but I couldn't do that when I started a business. It wasn't working out. My time wasn't very efficient. So I built a way to organize the inventory back here. I've got kind of a process for doing things whenever it comes to shipping stuff and everything. I mean, everything. When I go sourcing, there's a process. It's all about time management and having a sloppy room or just clutter and having things just kind of all over the place doesn't really work out when you're trying to run a business.
Yeah, it's the problem with it is not that it can't work out. It can. You're never going to be able to scale. Scaling is so important because, like for you, George, are you considering yourself full time yet or no?
I suppose yes. However, I'm not making enough profits to actually be full time. but I'm not getting any hours at work at the moment either. So,
but like say you and I sat down 2-3 months ago, which we probably did, and talked. Your sales were a lot lower. You had no way you could even be remotely full time because the income wasn't enough. But you were able to scale up because you have a system with your inventory, and you have a system where you're sourcing. You have a system for listing. And mind you, they're all work in progress. It's not like you've been selling for 10 years. It's always a work in progress. But
absolutely. I'm always trying to adjust and do things better.
If you had your original setup, which I don't even remember what it was, you showed me the before and after photos where you just had shoes everywhere.
And I did. I just had, it was these same shelves and I just kind of had shoes stacked up on them, and I had them arranged by style and color. So the black dress shoes were on one shelf, the brown dress shoes were on another, casual shoes were in like a bin, and like women's shoes were in another bin. And so it was kind of like that. And if I sold something, I'd have to go dig through the bin or dig through the shelf, find the right pair, knock some over, pick them back up, find them again. And so it wasn't really working out for me, and that's why I designed this system behind me. And I'll have to make a video about that one day and show kind of what it is I do and how it all works, because I don't know, just looking at it isn't you got to know kind of how to use it, I guess.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it looks nice. And I told you what I thought wasn't efficient about it. I think it's inefficient to have lids on bins, because then you have to pull the lid off when you're pulling them out. And mind you, it's not an issue now because you're not selling 50 pairs of shoes a day. But then when you get to that point and you're pulling off 50 lids and you're like, there's lids everywhere, fuck this system, then you realize it wasn't scalable. My system is, and I guess I have to do an updated video. I mean, I have a lot going on, and my system's a lot different than it used to be because I focus on FBA mostly. But my stuff's out and open on shelves like yours. I have a lot more shelves than you do. I lay a lot of stuff on fold-out tables. I love fold-out tables. I love being able to look at things in like a giant open horizontal manner and like see what I need to see. So I like tables a lot. I have a lot of tables. I have a lot of space to use, so I'm lucky. There's a couple of questions I want to address here for you as well. Do you set aside any money to source? How do you choose how much money you're going to spend to source something?
Oh, that's kind of a tough one. I typically, I try to stick to around $150 to $200 a month. And lately I've gone a little bit over that, but that's not a big deal. So I mean, I don't know. That's just what I go with. If it turns out to not be enough, I'll start spending more and getting more items and stuff like that. But it just depends on how much inventory I'm trying to add and whatnot.
Okay. My system, people are gonna laugh about because I seriously live life on the edge here. My bills have been the same number for a long time. I've been really lucky. I explained this. My bills every month, not business bills, personal bills, are $680, I think.
That's my rent, dude.
I know. I already heard. I've heard everything. I'm lucky. I'm an asshole. Whatever. Okay, that's my bills personally for the month. I take out that money from the money I make because I'm full time. I pay those bills. Business expenses vary quite a bit based on a lot of things, but I take all of the income from sales after that, from wherever, maybe affiliate links, wherever else I have money from. I spend every single ounce of that money back on sourcing. Every bit of it. Every bit of money I have extra goes into my business. Always. That's always been the plan. I am disciplined enough to not go spend that money and have a great time and drink and do whatever else. For the most part. Yeah, once in a while, do I have a drink with friends or whatever? Sure. But it's very minimal amount of money I spend on that stuff. I spend nearly every extra dime on sourcing. So I know a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are worried they won't have bills for the next month or money for the next month, whatever. I go for it. And if I'm getting towards the end of the month and I feel like I don't have enough money, I kick it into super high gear and make sure I get the money from somewhere. So
yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I feel like I fly by the cuff a little bit more than what I felt like I made it sound. But I guess I set a goal, but I don't always stick to it.
Chris B has a great question here, and I'm gonna have to think about this for a second because I want to make sure I give you the proper advice. He said, "Any advice to prepping before putting in my 2-week notice?" Now, if you're referring to going full-time reselling, I highly encourage that you know what you're doing, that you've been selling for a long time. You understand the risks. You understand your niche, whatever. It's not an easy job. People think it's so easy. It's not. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of dedication. There's a lot of things that go into online sales people don't realize. You got to deal with shitty customers. You got to deal with returns. You have to deal with sourcing. You have to deal with your bookkeeping. There's everything in the world to deal with. if I had one good piece of advice for you, it would be, and I mean this, it's the best piece of advice you're ever going to get. Don't be fucking lazy. Okay? If you think you're going to quit your job and then you're working for yourself and you're going to get to relax, think again. You don't get that privilege until you've proved that your business is successful. Do not procrastinate. Do not wake up and say, I could do this later. Do not say there's 29 more days in the month. Every time you do that, you're A, losing money, and B, putting the whole situation at risk. Get up, hustle, get your shit done, and relax when you have free time, which you should never have, so never relax.
I don't think I've turned on my Xbox in like a month.
I quit playing video games in December to do this. I'm not kidding. I am the biggest gamer you ever met. To spend every waking extra second playing video games. I own no consoles. They're gone. I sold them. I literally went all in.
Play on the PC.
I play one game on PC, The Binding of Isaac, and I don't play it a lot. I played it today for 22 minutes.
Oh, did you time yourself?
No, it has the timer in the game, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's like the game is a lot of people race and stuff, so there's a timer on the top. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go full time, think of what you can afford to do and make sure you're putting in the effort. It's not a joke. Like you will go out of business in a heartbeat for being lazy.
Pinching Pesos says, yeah, I took off eBay and worked on FBA. My FBA sales were 4,700 for the last 30 days. My eBay sales suffered since I wasn't listing. And my 30 is only 1,300. I tend to do the same thing. If I want to step up my FBA game, then my eBay sales suffer. If I want to step up eBay, then my FBA. Did I say the same thing twice? I feel like I said the same thing
I don't
twice.
know. I was reading. I'm like the worst at multitasking.
Well, if I want to step up my FBA game, my eBay sales suffer. If I want to step up on my eBay sales, my FBA suffers. So I'm working on balancing the two, although I don't know if it really matters because if one is selling better than the other, then it's going to be even, right? I don't know. I guess it just depends on which one is making you more profit.
I think it depends on so many things. People make it so simple, like, oh, focus on this or that. It's not. It depends on your situation.
Yeah.
For me, it makes more sense for me personally, myself, to focus on FBA because I make videos because we do this show. Like every week I put out 4 videos, which take a long time to record unless I do them quickly, and I try not to. And then we do this live show, and then I spend tons of time answering questions and stuff. It's not realistic for me to be able to list 1,000 items on eBay by myself and do that. Like what would sacrifice would be video quality, the time spent answering questions, and that's not what I want to sacrifice because I enjoy it. So I focus on FBA mostly now because it allows me to do what I want to do behind the scenes. Most people have that situation. They have to pick one over the other. My advice would be learn how to prioritize things and set up like a schedule. Like every 2 weeks, except for once in the last 3 months or 2 months, I've sent a shipment to FBA every 2 weeks. So set yourself a date to send a shipment to FBA, focus on getting that shipment large enough. And while you're doing that, also focus on listing. Now that I have someone helping me, it is easier because I can go, hey, you list on eBay, I'm going to go answer questions on YouTube and then look for stuff to sell on FBA. Or I can say, I'm listing on eBay. Can you go take photos of this stuff? So having someone to help does make a huge difference on that. But if you're trying to scale by yourself, be disciplined enough to try and hit, 20 listings a week and that's a low number, but hit 20 listings a week on eBay and source enough to get a shipment out every 2 weeks to FBA or, whatever it is that works for you. And depending on the scale of your operation and everything. But I would say, I've had that issue too. Like, look at me. I had 680 listings on eBay, switched over to focus on FBA, and now I'm down to 100 listings on eBay, right? Like, that's a huge fluctuation. So I understand exactly where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nelly B says, do you guys buy inventory on a daily basis or do you organize your days where you specifically pick at the stores and buy online on certain days of the week? I source almost on a daily basis, probably 5 days a week.
Okay.
And that's almost always thrifting.
I don't source a set number of time. I source until I'm out of money. Like that's what I do literally. Once I have $680 in the bank, I will source until there's no funds in there. And then when there's more, I'll source till that's gone. That's how I source typically. I always source at odd hours, like really early in the morning on the weekends because there's no one around. It's the best time to snipe auctions. That's for auctions I'm referring to here. And then I thrift when I feel I have free time and I want to go thrifting. And like the last time I went thrifting was to be a stress reliever, and I did great. So it depends. I don't have a set schedule. I tell people this all the time. My schedule can't be set. If my schedule is set, it never works out because there's so many outliers that pull me away to other things. Like I just cannot even express the gravity of the amount of questions I get anymore. I was just explaining this to someone on Facebook who sent me a question, and I responded to her in like 10 seconds because it went to my phone and I was just happened to be available. And I'm like, you're so lucky you got a response this quick because I have messages that are 3-4 days old I haven't even looked at yet. It's just ridiculous the amount of comments and questions, but I enjoy the support and like helping everyone. But I get so sidetracked with everything. It's like first I'm trying to keep up with the Facebook group, then I'm trying to answer questions, and I'm trying to list, and I'm trying to source. If I were to put this into a schedule, it would never work out because I'll get a random question I need to answer. I'll get a meeting that I have to meet with someone, or I'll have to go run and do something. So for me, I have an open schedule. I have weekly goals that I try to get to. That's what I do. And usually I do pretty well. And then now that I have someone helping quite a bit of the time, it's helped a lot. But because I've been away for 5-6 days, I'm really behind on everything. I like this question. Sandy Moth asked, given the choice, if either eBay or FBA wasn't invented, which of the two would you rather have right now to sell on? You can go first, George.
So if I had to pick between the two, essentially?
And the other one was non-existent.
Well, that's really hard to say because if one is non-existent, then the other has all the market. So it wouldn't really matter. One of them's going to.
But I think she's or he. I don't even know if that's a she. Is referring to the way the markets are right now. Which would you pick to have over the other? I get what you're saying. Like there would be only one online market then, which is true. But I don't think they were thinking that deep.
I don't know. I would probably. I think I would go with eBay.
Really?
Because only reason is because there's more leniency. So I could, you know what I mean? So you could sell your incomplete items, whatever. You can't do that on Amazon.
Literally, if you chose Amazon, you couldn't be the shoe guy or whatever. The flipping footwear. You're going to be the new shoe guy.
You're right. I guess that's one reason why I chose eBay. But because I can't sell my used shoes on Amazon. But I don't know. Wait, that whole thing still is lingering there. If one of them is gone, then the other has the entire market.
That's true, but I think they were just referring to the situation they're both in right now. What would you choose?
Yeah.
I hands down would choose FBA, not because I think it's better. I think FBA has more potential to sell items quicker. And if you can get into things like private label, if you can get good suppliers, you can make thousands upon thousands of dollars a day. But I would choose FBA simply because the workload is less for me and the system is more efficient. Efficiency is like everything in my system. So
my only argument towards that would be if FBA were not around, then all those buyers that are on Amazon would be buying on eBay.
Which is probably true because Amazon is such a giant marketplace. I know what you're saying. I just don't think that was thought into that deep. But all right, let's go to that situation, right? We take one away and the other one gets all of the marketplace. I would still absolutely choose Amazon over eBay because the likelihood of you getting scammed and ripped off on Amazon is that much lower as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like Amazon, hands down, is more powerful right now than eBay. That doesn't mean it won't change. I think eBay has a lot of work ahead of them to fix the site and really get back to what they were doing. And I really agree with Gary Vaynerchuk, what he said when he answered my question. If eBay doesn't change something, someone will suck up the market in the next 10 years. There will be another online garage sale that does well. There will.
Yeah. And that might be Etsy.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. They could expand.
Yeah. Someone posted in a group about selling on Bonanza today,
Okay.
and that question comes up every so often. Is anyone ever doing Bonanza? Is how are your Bonanza sales and
Yeah.
whatnot? And I tried it. I think it was towards the end of last year for a couple of months, and I never had a single sale. I just synced all my eBay listings with it, and I never got a single sale um, from Bonanza. And the thing is about Bonanza is that they don't advertise. I don't think there's many buyers that know about it.
Funny. So I've responded to a few of those, and I actually talked about it on the Q&A once. Funny enough is a viewer, Cody, who's a pretty awesome viewer. He's always kept in touch with me, helped me a lot. Like he sent me a lot of good information. Um, he said, "Hey, go check out Bonanza. You can link your Amazon and eBay account to it." I did it. I still to this day sell about 5 to 10 sales a month on Bonanza, but this is why it's funny. I linked them, and Bonanza kept switching my listing photos on eBay because it syncs, and then it'll actually update your quantities if something sells. Somehow there was a glitch with the syncing. It kept changing my photos. I couldn't figure out what it was. It had to be Bonanza. So I removed my license from eBay tokens for Bonanza. I did the same on Amazon. Now Bonanza pulls my listings from eBay without updating them, like without adjusting them themselves.
Yeah.
And I get sales through Bonanza just from the things I listed on eBay, and then I just pull them down manually. Otherwise, I could cancel the sale through Bonanza. But I literally have 5 to 10 sales a month from it. Yeah, it's not great, but it's extra income. It's extra views. It's not a bad program. Go check it out. It's fine. If you're having issues with the changing your photos, then maybe you'll need to reconsider it. I've never heard of anyone else having that issue, but it's the only thing I could think of. And as soon as I removed the token, it worked fine. So.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it's a bad platform or anything. I just it's not nearly as big as the other marketplaces, and since they don't advertise, that's probably a big reason. There's not very many buyers going to it, but I mean, yeah, it's an easy way to just get your listings out there. I think they do pop up in Google searches. If someone Googles any particular item that they're looking for, it might come up there. But yeah, it could make you some extra sales. So I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah, it's not a powerful platform. It's not anything like eBay or Amazon. It's an extra place to get a few extra views. Might you convert things? Sure. Is it going to be a significant increase? Hell no. Are you going to go from eBay to selling just on Bonanza? Sure, if you want to be homeless, like that's what's going to happen there. So it's an okay thing. It's not horrible. I'm not going to talk down about it. I like it. I think it needs tweaked. And had they advertised it right, it could be a great middleman between Amazon and eBay to connect the two. Tom, and I'm way back on comments here. I got to get caught up. But Tom said his rent is $850 and he lives alone. Honestly, I'm too frugal. If like when I do move from where I'm at now, I would never pay $850 a month for a place to live. I just wouldn't. I'm not like that needy. I would pay like $400 for a place to live, or I would go get a warehouse for $850 and sleep in the warehouse. Like I don't care. I would rather have somewhere to work. I don't know. That's just how I am.
I could see having a big open space and like just having like a twin bed in the middle of it with a spotlight coming down and
yeah, I just like I'm not.
You got a bed there and a dresser right next to it and boxes surrounding you.
I mean, like I grew up for the most part all over. Like I was over all kinds of people's houses. I moved a lot. I didn't have like some great bed I went home to every night, so it doesn't bother me to like go stay places and. I could easily rent out a warehouse and live in it. Honest to God, I probably could. But for me, business is more important than having some great place to go home to because I would spend all the time at the business anyways. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
What kind of bookkeeping systems do you guys use to organize your inventory, sales / profits? Nelly B asks. We talk about this every freaking show. I use PHP Point of Sale, which George had. I don't think he does now, and he uses GoDaddy bookkeeping.
Yeah, I unsubscribed from PHP, and I now use just GoDaddy bookkeeping.
And
GoDaddy has worked out really well for me. There's a lot of reports that you can see. You can look at all your transactions, your sales. It syncs your bank account and your PayPal, as well as your Amazon, so you can see all transactions in there and get a really good view of your profits on a daily basis, or your sales, expenses, and whatnot. It helps out with tax time. So I feel like Outright or GoDaddy Bookkeeping is a really powerful tool. It's only $10 a month.
And that's awesome. I mean, that's a cheap fee, so I'm not gonna like down talk it. I used to use Outright when it was free, and I loved it. I used it at the end of the year for reports. I use PHP because I have a system set up with it. I enjoy it, and I'm able to scan things out quickly and efficiently, and it works well with all the software I have and the products I have. I mean, that's how my system was built. I bought the products to fit the system, and I bought it outright. I'm not paying the monthly fee, so that's really what steered me towards it. If I could buy GoDaddy, like not GoDaddy Bookkeeping, because I think they have an option to buy it outright, but the same system they have online without the monthly fee, I may have considered it at the time. Mm-hmm. Do you earn most of your income on Amazon FBA from finding items, or at the thrift store, or retail arbitrage, or a mixture of these things? I'm assuming that was geared towards me. Obviously, you find most of your stuff at the weigh-in pay, right?
Yeah, that's where I've been getting most of my stuff. And like I was telling you earlier, I haven't found many good things over the past couple of weeks. So I actually have been postponing my next shipment until I get a good number of items. So I had originally been planning to send in one shipment every week, but I haven't found great stuff, so I'm postponing it for now. But I still am aiming to get one out every week. It just depends on what I find, I guess.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely a majority of my sales is FBA. Absolutely no doubt about it. I am going to work on eBay a lot more, but I'm still going to be working on FBA. The whole thing I've been working on is getting a system to where the guy who his name's Michael that works with me can focus on listing on eBay while I focus on Amazon. Once I'm, split down the middle basically and focusing on both, I'll be able to have more consistent sales on eBay. The reason I put my time in FBA and not eBay is a lot of reasons. People don't understand, like, my channel is a social experiment. I literally will go all in on something because people want to know the results. They want to learn about it. The whole reason I started on FBA was to make the FBA series. That was the whole goal. I was like, everyone's talking about this. I want to make a documentary kind of series about how to start up on it. So I went all in and did it. This will probably happen with Etsy sometime in the future, or other sales platforms, because I don't like giving advice on something until I've went all in and experienced it myself. So that's why I originally started on FBA. I love it, so I'm glad I did it. I might not love Etsy, but I will still probably spend a lot of time on it, learning it to show other people. That's really what the channel is about. That's why it's done so well. The goal there is just to help people. That's the whole basis behind it. So right now I'm focused on FBA. Will that change? Possibly. It depends on how things go. I can assure you that FBA will be a good source of my income for a long time to come, unless things change on their platform. And I want to respond to something here. Andrew said, Michael, I think both Pokemon Game Boy Advance games you looked at are fake. So Andrew posted a lot in the group. I told him to message me because I wanted to look over the games for him and authenticate them. I do authentication on retro games a lot, but a lot of Game Boy Pokemon games are counterfeit. I don't know if you know that, George.
I did hear about that, I don't know, a couple months ago. But apparently, I don't remember how you see the difference, but I know that there's a article about it somewhere, and I could look it up if I needed to, but I don't deal with games very much.
And these are Game Boy Advance games. I mean, we're talking 15 years old. They're old, like maybe more than that at this point. So I want to respond to you, Andrew, in 1 second. But there's really good counterfeits of the Game Boy Advance games. I'm talking like really good. They're hard to notice unless you know what you're looking for. Andrew, I'm pretty sure your Fire Red, I think is what it was, is legit. I'm pretty sure the other one was fake, which was Ruby, I believe. I did a lot of referencing with photos of older games and some that I had saved and stuff. And I can tell for sure the one I sent you that was fake was about 99% fake. The other one I think is real, actually. Go and look more and make sure you know for sure. One way you can tell is if you have a transfer cable and 2 Game Boys with the games, you can try and transfer Pokemon. The counterfeit ones will fail to transfer, and that's how you can find out. But I'm glad I messaged you because a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of fake Pokemon games, even older ones. I mean, counterfeiting's been around for a long time. And that can get you in a lot of trouble if you sell it as real, especially on Amazon. Charles asked, how many items do I ship to FBA every 2 weeks? Well, every 2 weeks I make a video on it. So if you want to see it, go into my channel and look for the FBA update, the bi-weekly FBA update, and you can see exactly what I send in every 2 weeks. That's why I make that, so I don't have to answer that question. Oh, what's up, Andrew? How are you, buddy? He said, sorry, I always miss this Sunday as a hardcore sourcing day. Yeah, I know you told me. It's not a big deal. I appreciate you stopping in if you're here still. And we just kind of ramble about stuff, so you're probably not missing anything that you would want to hear.
Yeah. I actually tend to go sourcing Tuesday nights all the time, so I always miss those live shows from you guys.
Oh, the resellers roundtable. I'm like, what are you talking about Tuesday nights for? I'm usually in bed because I go to bed early sometimes, but my sleep schedule's all screwed up because I was away for 6 days, so now I'm just up really late again, which is terrible. I try to make it. I always watch it the next day. So, and here, I'll give you a shout out because I actually enjoy that show. My main issue with the live shows on YouTube that are about reselling is they start out about reselling, and then they end up talking about some crazy shit that's not relevant, like, you know, parties or what they did on spring break or some crazy shit I don't want to hear about. Or they start out about nothing about reselling and then they finish about it. I like the Reseller Roundtable show because it starts out about reselling, it ends about reselling. They're showing examples of stuff that they got, and I think it actually brings value to resellers. Does this show do that? I think it does in a good way. We stay on topic for the most part. This show has become really more of an interactive Q&A. I'm not even like going to try and act like it's some crazy show we planned out. We originally were like, all right, we're going to pick topics, talk about them. It has just turned into a big group hangout to answer questions, have a good time, and just help new people or whoever wants to ask questions and bring up topics. But I like that. I like that it's interactive. So if you guys haven't seen it, Tuesday night, I think it's usually on 9 p.m. Eastern, is the reseller. Is it the Reseller Roundtable is what it's called? It's the same as the group?
Yes.
I think that's what it's called. Anyways, you guys can go over there. Andrew, you got Mike, and you got Pete. So that's Craigslist Hunter, Global Voodoo, and Picking Profits. And they're all great guys. And, you know, they're real resellers. They'll help you guys out. And they really talk about some cool stuff over there. More importantly, Pete always finds some crazy vintage shit that I love watching.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from watching Pete list his vintage stuff. I know he recently made a video about stereo systems and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't keep up with people's videos a lot. I try to, it just doesn't happen. But I usually listen to the Reseller Roundtable the next day. And the one thing I seen I thought was really cool, Pete had this like old soldier like cast iron coin shooter where it shoots the coin into the contraption. It's like the old mechanical bank is what they are.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I like those little things are so cool, and they always walk into his shop. And so if you guys don't know Pete, who's the Craigslist Hunter, he actually owns a shop. It's not a pawn store. It's like a reselling shop, and he gets tons of cool stuff that comes in there. Like he just got vintage film and stuff. Hey, do I need a business license to eBay and Amazon? Would a business license be beneficial? And if so, what would you name the license be called? All right. First of all, it's like a bunch of questions that are irrelevant to anything. A business, there's no such thing as a business license, actually. That's something, if you want to learn about, go watch Cliff Inico's videos or get his book. There's so many things people refer to as business license. There's a vendor's license. There's a state registry license that says your business has its name registered in the state so no one can copy it. Do you need any of this stuff to be on eBay or Amazon? Not really. You should try and get your vendor's license, you know, in your local, which will have your local sales tax ID so you can collect sales tax in your state. Are they hard to get? I don't know. I don't know where you live. In Ohio, it was easy to get. In Texas, is it easy to get? I don't know. I don't study every state. It's not what I'm here to do. That's way too much work for me.
I walked into the tax office, and well, it wasn't the tax office. It was actually, yeah, it was. It was the tax office, and I applied to start a business. $28 later, I walk out with a little certificate that has my business name on it.
Nice.
It was very cheap, and then getting my tax ID was free. So $28. That's all it took for me to get into business.
I think it was $28 here for me to register my name as well, and I did it 6 years ago now. I got to re-register it next year, I think, or the year after. Mine's going to run out, but my vendor's license never runs out, and mine is. I think I have there's two types of vendor's license. I'm not going to remember the legal name, but I have one that allows me to travel and sell in Ohio instead of being a stationary location. So I can use it at flea markets and stuff.
That's good.
So Andrew has a good question here. Now I'm like, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot with this question. How much money do you realistically hope, expect, or want to make from your business per year in 5 years from now? That's a great question. But I feel like I'm going to give a number, and I'm either going to knock it out of the park, or I'm going to be like way under that in 5 years. I'm like, fuck. So, like, what do you think, George? What would you like to be making per year selling online in 5
$1
years?
million.
Well, of course, everyone would like that.
Yeah.
It says realistically, buddy. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I feel like a dick. But I mean, realistically, if you're making $1 million a year from now, and 5 years from now, I'm like, wow.
I gotta find out what's. I keep changing, so I'm getting better and better and better at this, and I don't know what's realistic for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to gauge. I haven't had that full year of business to know to even get a start. You know, I don't have an idea of what my full year is yet until it's done, and then after that, it'll hopefully be better than my first year. And then that year will be better. So, you know, I think once I finish my first full year, I'll have an idea of I definitely want to do this much better this year. And it's hard for me to call those shots right now.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Realistically, Andrew, in 5 years from now, I want to be doing gross at least $250K a year. That's like the minimum I want to be bringing in, which would probably put me profit wise at between 100 and 150,000 a year. I don't think that's impossible for me. I think it can definitely happen. And the most I brought in, I'm 23. The most I brought in 1 year so far is 63,000, which was last year. But that wasn't all reselling. Though I had a good job as a chef, which I understand. But I think I'm a hard enough worker, and if I get things. Like, I have a lot of big plans I'm working on. If I get them in a row, I absolutely could easily do $250K a year in 5 years. And that would put me at 28 years old doing that. I would be really happy with that. I hope I could do way more than that. And I think it's possible. It's a lot of work. Yes. You have to grow a lot. You have to really, you know, make all the mistakes and then get them out of your system, because you're going to make a million mistakes along the way. But for me, that would put me in a good spot. I think then I can have a decent sized crew behind me. I can really give a few people a great full-time job, and I can continue to grow myself and do videos. I mean, really more than anything, I enjoy doing videos and this kind of stuff. I really do. Like, people don't understand that. My favorite part about reselling is being able to share experiences, answer questions, do videos. If I could, I would do full-time YouTube videos. Not realistic right now, but I totally would, because that's what I like doing. So it would let me focus on that a lot more. And then I could do 7 videos a week or some crazy shit. But yeah. Doing that amount of money just on FBA and eBay can be tough, but I think it's definitely possible. Most people don't share their numbers. So, like, realistically, I don't even know what you're making per year right now, Andrew, or Mike, you know, who's also got a decently sized operation. But I think there are certain things that can help you get to those numbers easier. Like, for instance, Pete's shop, I'm sure, brings in a good chunk of money aside from his eBay sales. And I don't even know if Pete does FBA, so. Nelly B says, I was told to focus on eBay, learn the system before ever thinking about doing FBA. I truly want to do FBA and will probably embark on it soon. But what is your opinion on that? My opinion on that is go watch my FBA series. It's called the Amazon FBA series complete series. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. I just kind of go through how I started up, what you can do, some tips and tricks, blah, blah. But my thoughts are eBay has nothing to do with FBA. They're not even remotely similar. They're not. I've started on eBay 5 years before I ever even seen FBA. And I don't think much I've learned from eBay has translated over to FBA. Would you agree that they're not really similar, George? Or?
Absolutely. If you want to start doing FBA, just do it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that statement. Just go for FBA if you want to. If you're worried about, eBay and you want to go to FBA, try it. I think it's actually a lot simpler to learn. Just make sure you know the rules so you don't get banned.
Yeah, I think they're two completely different ball games.
So Andrew said he'd be comfortable in Obama's America with 100K. Hillary's America, maybe 200K as a white man. Okay, so that's surprising to me. Now I feel like I'm super ambitious when I say 250. Maybe I am, but you know what? I'd rather be ambitious and really work towards that goal than undershoot myself and then do way better, I guess. But that's how I always am. Like I expected to get my wholesale website up in like a couple months after the beginning of the year, and that's still this giant project I'm working on. Yeah, I'm working on it, everyone that's watching. There you go. I'm talking about it. I'm not going to mention anything about that until I actually got the systems in place. But really, I think that's what my future route has to do with wholesale sourcing to people and FBA and eBay on the side, but I don't think I'll be selling thrifted goods in 5 years. That's not really what I'm looking to do. I just like how he said Obama's versus Hillary's America. Pitching Peso said, you can't even get a roommate situation for $400.
That comment was
true.
Like 30 minutes ago.
So she lives in Austin. And she said, "You can't. There's no place with such cheap rent here, Michael." All right, that's fair. I live in Cleveland. Okay, there's parts of Cleveland that are so ghetto I can get an apartment for like $200. Currently, I rent out a portion of family member's house. But
I live in a 500 square foot condo, and it's $625 a month just for the rent. That's not including bills.
Dude, where do you people live?
In Austin, Texas.
Not you. Like Picking Profits is saying minimum $1,700. One bedroom, might as well be living in New York City. 17. What? Dude, do I live in like the cheapest state on earth or something? What's going on here? I can easily get a place to live right now for between $400 and $600.
$1,700 a month for a one bedroom?
Holy shit, I didn't know rent. Now I'm afraid to look for a place to live.
In like a high rise.
Chris B said, theory on this. I had Rascals demo for PS1 and sold it for $8. I have the Rascals for PS1 complete for $7. The demos sold and the game did not. What's your theory on this? My theory is that the game is mass produced. The demo was probably not. So someone who's collecting demo discs seen it and picked it up. Sadie says he pays $1,100 for a 3-bedroom house. Now that sounds more reasonable to me. I like how is this rent discussion taking place now? We talked about that like 20 minutes ago.
That's how long these comments have been sitting there.
Oh my God, I'm way behind. Jeez. I thought I was scrolling down. I'm definitely not. Andrew said he didn't see the imprinted numbers on the game. Yeah, it can be real without the imprinted numbers. The Fire Red, I'm pretty sure, didn't have the imprinted numbers. Ruby did. Could be wrong, but I think I'm right on that. All right, I'm trying to get caught up in comments, people. I'm sorry. I do sell on Etsy. Quick Jack, do you sell on Etsy at all or no?
No, I haven't sold on Etsy.
I mean, I have like 10 listings only. I'm working on it, but it's like I put things up for sale there. I shouldn't say I sell there yet because I don't have enough stuff listed. I'm thinking about trying to sell vintage shirts over there because I've heard, Mike Global Voodoo's done pretty well over there on vintage shirts. So.
Yeah.
All right. B said the rent is too damn high. I just never knew that rent was such an issue. Like, I don't know. Oh my god! And Pitching Peso says that homeless people pay more for rent than me. All right, George, you want to wrap this up, or you want to talk about some other stuff?
It's whatever. I can keep going.
We'll start talking.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Show some of your recent finds. We can go resale roundtable style. Find anything cool?
I found this.
Is that a frisbee?
Yes, it's a disc. If you don't know disc golf very well, then you probably don't know that these are worth around $15. I picked it up at the Weigh and Pay. I'm probably going to use it before I sell it and see how it works for me because I like playing. And I don't know if it works. I do like, this is a different plastic, but I have a Star Sidewinder and this is a Champion Sidewinder. They're different plastics. They fly a little bit differently, or they feel a little bit differently. They just kind of do a little bit different things. So I'm going to try this one out. If I don't like it, I'll sell it. But yeah, I don't weigh very much, and so I got it for really cheap. I sometimes see these in Goodwills, and they sell them for like 99 cents, and usually you can flip them for an easy $15.
What's the actual weight on it? Is it first class?
171 grams.
Dude, who the hell measures in grams? Oh, you, because you're in the medical field.
No, disc golfs. Golf discs are measured in grams, and they're indicated on the disc.
Oh. Well, I'll show a few things, but I got to grab them because I wasn't expecting to. But I got a few things that maybe people missed while I was away. So I'll be right back.
Got a pair of Dan Post boots. They should do fairly well. I'll probably sell them for between 50 and 65 bucks. They're in pretty good condition. There's the sole on the inside is starting to peel up a little bit, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Anybody can just stick an insole in there. I guess I haven't really found too many big finds. I always look for like hiking boots, cowboy boots, any kind of boots. They usually sell well. These are Morel. I know I've talked about these in videos before. They have these Vibram soles. You can see that there by the little yellow mark. It just means they're pretty good quality when they're endorsed by Vibram. But yeah, those should do fairly well, around 45 bucks.
I missed it. They were shoes of some sort.
Yeah, just some boots. I did find some Allen Edmonds Park Avenue the other day. Out of our, I don't remember which bin they're in, but Park Avenue, Allen Edmonds are fairly popular, and they sell for around 150 bucks. So, bought them for $15 at the Goodwill. I noticed my Goodwill has all their polo shirts. One of the Goodwills that I went to, but they have their polo shirts and Tommy Bahama and what's another? Brooks Brothers. All those shirts are between like $12.99 and $19.99 now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't. My thrift stores have good prices, even on shirts like that. I'm surprised how expensive some people's are. Someone posted tags of like Tommy Bahama's like over $20 at their thrift stores. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm glad mine aren't like that. There's an area near me that's pretty uppity, and they're not even that bad there. But a lot of times I'll drive to the ghetto and go to the ghetto thrift stores because
they have better prices.
Yeah, they won't mark it up because no one there can afford it. They just won't even bother coming in then. So I did a couple of haul videos this week. By the way. I'm sure most people who were regulars here have seen them. I got a giant Wii lot. I was going to bring that over, but they're all stacked nice. I don't want to mess with them. But I got two jackets I wanted to talk about because I thought they were really cool. and a lot of people have talked about them on Facebook when I posted. The first is the original Penguin, which is like a vintage leather jacket. But the reason I bought it was the lining, and thank you, George, for researching while I was at the thrift store. The lining is like a library bookshelves. I've never seen anything like it. And I was like, that is the coolest lining in a jacket I've ever seen. The jacket was marked really expensive, like $30, but it was half off because I had a half off ticket, which at my thrift store, every $50 you spend, you get a day of half off. However much you spend, you can get half off that day. So like I go in, get these cards punched, get half off next time I use it. And then that's when I go ham and buy everything. But it's in great condition. It's like a beautiful leather. I know it's warm out, but I paid $15. There's only a few for sale at all online, like a couple, and they're going for between $150 and $300. This one is Kakadu. And the reason I bought this was because the lining is, well, it's the whole Australian map, which is cool as hell. The outside is like a green plaid pattern, which, isn't anything amazing. It's kind of hard to see on my camera. I'm not in love with the pattern on it, but a similar one to this I found had sold for over $100 as well. Wow. This is in great condition too. Like the tags are perfect, the inside's perfect. And so together, and this was only $2. It was $4 and marked in half. So I paid $17 for 2 jackets. I expect I can get at least a couple $100 for them as a, as a final sale after fees and stuff. And for me, that's good pickups. I don't know how well jackets sell in the summer months. I'm sure it's cold somewhere in the world. So I figured I could sell them. I ship everything international. And now Chad is going ham again. I'm falling behind. Says George, are you scoring a lot of Nike and Adidas this season?
Yeah, I answered that in the comments, and the answer is no. I don't source Nikes and Adidas at all.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if you sourced Nikes, but I figured you didn't really sell Adidas.
I typically only go after just casual and dress shoes when it comes to men's footwear, and women's kind of the same, like sandals and like casual shoes, like the Keens and the Morels, like stuff that can be like double as like walking shoes. But yeah, I don't usually go after sneakers like Jordans or Nikes or anything. I don't do those. There's too many fakes.
I usually go for dress shoes when I look, and you gave me that list I look through sometimes, but I don't go for like, sports shoes either unless they're vintage and I can tell they're from when I was younger and like old school Chucks and stuff. Do you guys ever get lowball offers? I've gotten a bunch lately. Jenny B asked. Yeah, all the time. We talked about this last week if you weren't here, but just ignore them. Lowball offers don't matter. It does. Just ignore them or respond and give them a counter offer and call it a day. I wouldn't, stress out about it. Lowball offers are always going to happen. People are cheap.
Yeah, I've talked about that before. If you're going to use OBO on your listings, expect the lowball offers, and on top of that, don't be offended by them. Don't deny, what is it called?
Decline it?
Yeah, don't decline the offer just because it's the lowball offer. Counter offer with a price that you want. If they don't offer a legitimate price after that, then decline it. And I'll do that. Let's say I have a $45 item and they offer $15. Instead of just declining at that moment in time, I'll respond with a reasonable offer, $40, $37, something like that, something that they're going to be willing to accept right then and there. And if they come back at me with $20, then I'll decline it. They're at that point that I know they're not being serious, and they're just trying to get a cheap item, and I'll decline it then. But I won't decline the first offer ever because that can be a potential sale. People will lowball you. They'll go a lot lower than what they expect to buy it at because they don't know how low you're willing to go. So if they shoot extra low, you might come in half there and be lower than what they were expecting to buy it for.
Actually, everyone, don't listen to a word George says. He offered me $8 on a $50 item. So everything he says is bull crap.
I was trying to get a cheap item so I could resell it.
Someone asked about selling groceries on FBA. I'm approved for groceries. They sold okay. The margins there get cut down really fast because Amazon stocks a lot of groceries themselves. They asked about sport coats. You don't really sell sport coats too much, do you?
I did a couple months ago go and buy a few of them just from brands that I've heard sell well, and I've sold one coat ever since, and I have all the rest. So they haven't been selling well for me, and I've stopped sourcing. I don't source them anymore.
I personally, I've only gotten a few. The one I have listed now, I have 3 in stock. The one I have listed has a lot of views and watchers, actually. It's a Gaunt sport coat. I don't even know the brand. I just bought sport coats that were really cheap that looked nice to me, which was dumb because I didn't realize designers mattered so much. I've learned a lot since then. If you have questions about sport coats, honestly, the one person I see that seems to sell them consistent is Mike Global Voodoo. He does a video like every couple of weeks of the sport coats he sold. He knows the brands and stuff to look for. So either post on Facebook in his group or you comment in his videos. I'm sure he can help you more. Honestly, I don't have good advice to give on it, so I'm not gonna like give a bunch of great advice on it. And I'm the kind of guy who would just not give you advice over giving you bad advice.
The biggest thing that I didn't like about selling the coats was measuring them.
Yeah, I mean, measuring them is a little bit of a pain, but if you can get a high dollar for something you paid $1 or $2 for, then it's worth it. And my thrift stores have coats for like between $1 and $4, like really cheap.
Oh, that's really great. See, I can't get them for cheaper than 10.
Oh, okay. So my stores are pretty cheap, but they also don't have great brands that I've seen either. Harley says, I've been selling on eBay for years, but just started on Amazon Merchant Fulfilled. Besides that, I ship out items myself on MF. Is there a big difference between FBA? I am just so new to Amazon. Yeah, FBA basically takes all the middleman work out of it. They deal with your customers. They ship the items. They, put the items with the Prime logo next to them, giving them sales power. I personally love FBA, but I also use Merchant Fulfilled sometimes. If you want to learn about FBA, you can check out my channel and watch the series I have on it to get an idea of how it works. But definitely do your research before jumping into it. There's a lot of fees. There's like your fees are going to be between 30 and 40%. So keep that in mind. But the sales power and the amount of work it takes off your plate is very useful.
Andrew asked a pretty good question, and I seem to get it a lot as well. How do you guys deal with friends and family all wanting to have you sell stuff for them? What do you charge for commission?
That is a good question.
I have recently said that I'm not interested in selling anyone else's stuff because I don't like the idea that I'm paying the full taxes on the sales, at the end of the year. Sure, I'm getting the item for free essentially, and I would be taking like 50% of the profit, but I'm putting in all the legwork when I can be getting 100% of the profit.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And on top of that, like I said earlier, I'm paying the taxes on the entire sales amount. So I'm not interested in selling anyone else's stuff at this time.
I would agree with everything you said. First of all, Sadie said, I charge 50% and then they usually go away. And
50% is really good. If you were to take furniture to a consignment shop, the best you're going to get is like 60%.
Yeah.
That's how much they charge to sell your stuff. But, I can see that. They have a whole store. They have the inventory, and people are going to go there to buy stuff. You're more likely to sell, I guess. So if somebody I've been encouraging people to sell their own stuff on eBay and learn how to do it themselves rather than have me do it for them.
Good. Tell them to go watch my videos.
I will.
We just hit 52 viewers.
A local person the other day.
Oh, thanks. We just hit 52 viewers, so that's 2 weeks in a row we're over 50. We really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for the support and hanging out. I never thought people would want to listen to us talk at 11:30 at night.
Yeah, man. People are up at all times of the day. If you guys like this hangout, go over and hit the like button on Mike's video. I know he'll really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's the big thumbs up button. Also, George's channel's down in the comments, not the comments, the description box, all that kind of stuff. All the links to the Facebook pages, the group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, you can. But I want to comment on that myself. I don't accept consignment often. I've done it only a few times. It's not worth the time for the money typically, unless it's like a really rare item. But more importantly, people just want to give you all their junk and have you sell the junk, which is just a waste of your time. So I usually pass on that.
Yep, same here.
Click it. Wow, way to spam the chat. I should block you.
I thought you might like that.
So yeah, if you guys have questions, send them now because we're going to start wrapping up if there's not a bunch of questions that we need to cover. Oh, it's 10:30. Oh yeah, everyone's from the West Coast apparently.
You have videos about food?
Sure, that's what we'll go with. By the way, that's just been requested. After you brought up doing a cooking channel, it's requested all the time now. So
yeah, you should do it.
I hear all the time. But I think that's going to wrap it up then. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We appreciate it. Random rap songs. Now I want to see that, Tom. Shaky videos of birds. Yes, this is the best thing ever. 3 cars on commission. Well, that makes sense because cars are a high ticket item.
Yeah, you could totally make money doing that.
Dude, I want to see shaky videos of birds. I'm just saying. All right, but on that note, oh, why are you going to throw a question there, Jenny? Damn it. How are we liking the new changes on eBay? I haven't even kept up with them. I just did a 3-day auction. Now cost $1.
They haven't affected me at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're a big deal.
If you already have a store, it's not a big deal. If you didn't have a store, well, I guess now they're also charging $1 for auctions, but I don't use auctions very much, so nothing's changed for me personally, but other people I know are not liking the $1 per listing on auctions.
Gotcha.
How much
get your shipping supplies from FBA and eBay. That's where I get them. I look for the best prices. That'll give you feedback on eBay as well.
Yep.
How much do you sleep working full-time or part-time online? I sleep a lot. That's a terrible question for me.
I sleep as much as I want.
Yeah, I have a bad habit of sleeping a lot. All right, we're wrapping this up, or I'll be answering questions all night. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Links down in the description, all that kind of stuff. You want to support the channel, there is an affiliate link, any of that, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, George's channel, and all the other shenanigans. What time next week? Probably 9, but we did pretty well for being 10, so I don't know yet. You know, we got complained at for having this time frame starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. But that just kind of makes me want to keep it. So have a good night, everyone.
Later.